republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We just returned from closed session where we discussed labor negotiations, and we discussed case number 201-8070438 and approved a settlement agreement between the district and certain parents. The terms of the payment by the district for educational services for the student. In the motion by Member Wynn and a second by Member Crocker, the motion carried 4 ayes, no nays. Member Rodriguez was absent. So next we move on to the agenda, approval of the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to pull anything from the agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Member President Thomas, the agenda has me at 4183 Lugo Avenue in Chino Hills. I was able to be here on, and not be there, but there is a sign on the door just in case anyone who read the agenda, who is of interest of being at the meeting, can attend the meeting, or in the given phone number or whatever they need.
Call in if they want.
Right, call in if they want. Right,
Okay,
exactly.
that.
With that, I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda.
We'll second. Please vote. Mr. Rodriguez.
Yeah, I'm logging in. Okay, got it.
Motion passes 5 ayes. Thank you. Next, we have public hearing on the joint initial proposal for reopeners between the California School Employees Association, CSEA, and the Newark Unified School District. The public hearing is open. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak to this? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. I don't believe we have any student members.
Junior high, yes.
Oh, junior high, please come forward. Thank you for coming. New faces.
So, hi, my name is Inez Rodriguez, the 2018 through 19 school year ASB president.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Bernostra, the 2018 through 19 school year ASB vice president.
Everyone is getting used to school again from a well-earned summer vacation. We worked orientation selling ASB stickers. Earnings from ASB stickers went towards student-ran activities for students during lunch. We also had our back-to-school night.
Right now, we're brainstorming prizes for our fundraiser. We're trying to raise $12,360 for new scoreboards in the gym. We're assigning jobs to ASB leadership students and broadcasting morning announcements in the library. Coming up, we will be planning for our back-to-school dance. We are also going to be designing new student apparel. As you may know, Newark Days is coming up, so leadership and web leaders are planning to go and represent our school.
We have a rally that's being planned along with our fall season sports starting, like track, boys basketball, and girls softball. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, superintendent's report.
Good evening, board members, President Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. I just have a few things to update everyone on. I'm glad the students said Newark Days. September 22nd, Newark Days. I did have a little surprise that, I don't know if, can we pull up the image, Shar? It's okay. I'll share it with you through email, but I found an old banner that was used years ago that fits perfectly with the theme of Newark Days this year, which is magic is the theme, is that correct? Wizard? Well, this banner that I found was in the warehouse, and It's quite fancy, and it looks very much like it came from Gryffindor or something out of Harry Potter, so I think it fits the theme perfectly. So that was kind of a fun thing to find, and then we could use it for the parade this year. I also want to just announce that put a plug in for the Rotary Crab Feed, October 17th. So we have tickets still, so come buy your tickets. I know 4 of us on the board.
November.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was October.
It's the Saturday.
November 17th?
No, the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I had it on the ticket and I didn't bring it from my desk, so thank you. I know if you need tickets, you can see Member Thomas, Member Crocker, Miss Salinas, or myself. It's a great fundraiser, and we do reap a lot of benefits as a district from Rotary, and Rotary is one of the big international factors in trying to eliminate and eradicate polio. So it's a good cause. I did have a good half-day meeting with the members from CCEE, the California Collaborative for Educational Equity. We are getting closer to talk about dollars. I have a few more adjustments to make to the plan that Associate Superintendent Salinas and I are working on, but I'm hoping, I do believe we'll be able to get some of those dollars to go towards helping with marketing and communication. So remains to be seen. They're not coming with the number I asked for, but I think they're willing to talk about some dollars towards us. That's really all I had to update the board on at this time.
Thank you.
Oh, one last thing. I do want to let everyone know that we are, as many of you know, Newark Unified has been using a new company for transportation for students, especially with special needs. And this transition has been overall successful, but we have had a few problems we're working through, and Zoom has been responsive to working with us for some of those problems. But this is a big change. There's going to be some challenges. Jennifer Willis is working closely with parents and sites and Zoom to get all the challenges ironed out. Although it's been a little bumpy overall, we're seeing relative success with it. So more to follow. I just wanted to add that to my report. It's not perfect yet, but we're working on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have public comment on non-agenda items. And Ms. Parks?
Good evening. I just wanted to, I know this was already on the agenda, but I didn't know what was going to be reported out. So I just wanted to remind the board that when you do make an agreement in closed session, that you need to divulge the substance of that agreement when you come out. To just say that you made a settlement isn't enough, just as you did prior where you stated the amount of that settlement, that you do need to list the substance of that settlement. And I didn't hear that when it was disclosed. Thank you.
The settlement, okay. Staff, would you look into whether or not we should have reported out the amount, and if we should have and didn't, can we please rectify that maybe at the next meeting publicly? I
Yes.
think it's an important point. I recall in the past, I think we have mentioned a dollar amount of settlements, but I'm not positive. And thank you, Ms. Parks, for bringing that up.
I have a question on that, if you don't mind. It's a public document now, right? So, so that's open to the public to have a copy of it if they want. That's up.
So there's certain things dealing with litigation that have to remain closed. So certain things can be disclosed, but I would say defer to staff to make sure that they do the correct thing for rectifying that. And if anyone wants to access that information, they can do so with a request.
One of the problems that we have is we have past practices, how we've done this in the past, And a lot of times the community will kind of lean on that, and you've done it in the past, why not now? So if we're going to explain or look into that, maybe that's something that should be part of it. And if it is something that we have announced in the past that we're changing and not doing it moving forward.
Yeah, I think that your research could help us, because we do want to be transparent. If it's something that we should do, we want to be able to do it and not change practice unless there's a legal reason to change practice, okay?
We will look
Thank
into
you,
it.
Member Rodriguez. Next, we have item 10.1, CBOC member reappointment, Mr. Adam Madzaleski.
I'd like to move that we approve item 10.1.
I'll second.
Please vote.
Before, if I want to do a comment, do I do it now or after we vote?
You should do it now before we vote.
Okay. I just want to say that Adam is a young man that runs the mortgage company right across the street from my office, and I'm the one that asked him, and Ms. Parks and the other members of the CBOC concurred that he would be an excellent member of the CBOC, and I appreciate all the members. I know we're getting toward the end, and I'm just very thankful that he's decided to continue.
And yeah, we're happy that he's continuing, and also we are recruiting additional members for the CBOC. The notice is on our website. Okay, please vote. Five ayes, thank you. Next, we have MOU with Beacon Consulting Group. Would someone from staff like to address this?
Sure, this is the agreement with Beacon Consulting. This is a firm that has been with the district for, I think, under a contract for 3 years, and prior to that worked with the district under a contract with ACOE. And they get paid for their services based on the energy saving projects that they complete for the district. And then there are engineered values in terms of that energy savings, and they get a percentage of those energy savings that take place. So it's not a duplicate of the other energy savings that the district does. Say, for instance, if the district does an HVAC replacement through Measure G all on its own, that's not part of the savings that goes into the contract for this company. In addition, they have a couple other, or at least one other projects that's done on a flat fee, and that is a school bus replacement program offered by the Bay Air Quality Management District, where they actually pay the entire fee, the entire cost of replacing a school bus with either a low-cost fuel or non-fuel bus. And so they will do all the groundwork in terms of the application for those types of projects for a flat fee. So those are the two kinds of projects that they work on for the district.
They have made presentations to us in the past, and I've been very impressed with the savings that we've had through them. I asked you a question earlier and about how will they be benchmarking or doing an audit of our usage and then deciding which dollars are saved because of something we do through Measure B or through...
Right, and initially I didn't recall exactly how that works, but now I do remember that it is based on a by project service for them, and they only pay for a percentage of those projects, not benchmark across the district of all the energy that the district uses.
Okay, so it would be by school, for example?
Or by school, by project, yes.
By project. Mr. Rodriguez.
I actually didn't press the button, but that's okay. I did have questions. Normally, when you have an agreement that's lasted so long and you're asking us to extend it, one of the things that normally happens is, and they've done, in my opinion, they've done a great job, is that at some point they either come and report to the board and on ongoing and what they're doing, or either have staff do it based on their report. And I just want to make sure that that's something that's in the foreseeable future, that we get a report, whether it's once a year, every 6 months, on the projects and what they're doing. And I don't remember receiving too much information in the last 5 years from Beacon.
They came last year.
Okay.
They were here, yeah.
We
Okay.
can do that again.
Okay.
Ms. Crocker?
Yeah, I was looking at the cost-sharing explanation on page 2 of the contract, and it talked about a rate change. Are we talking about the amount of money that we pay change, or the rate, the cost per unit change?
Have to look at that.
Page 2. Page 2 of the contract.
Page 2, which section?
Cost sharing, second paragraph from the bottom. By way of example, if a rate change causes PGA to change its billing, is it really rate change we're talking about, or the amount that we're using? They're not going to get credit for PG&E deciding that they're going to have a cheaper rate.
Oh, no, that's.
So it would be, I don't know if this is part of the contract or not, or if it's just an explanation.
I don't see exactly the section you're talking about. Rate change, oh. Then the savings is 2,000. Well, the savings, if the rate changes as a result of something they've done.
If the
for
cost,
district.
the rate would be how much it is per unit.
Not a PG&E initiated rate change, but if they do a project which results in the PG&E's bill being reduced
Right,
by
so it would be the
$2,000
cost.
a month.
Yeah, the cost rather than the rate.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
One more thing.
Well, Mr. Preciado is next, and then we can come back to you.
Thank you, sir. I had a question if you knew, because under details the example, the IE, regarding the leaks at Newark Junior High. I know we've been talking about that for a while, and my understanding is this should have been fixed already. So why is it as an example unless it continues and we haven't addressed the issue?
The Spruce Grove primary.
No, it says pool leaks at Newark Junior High. Under purpose, number 3, provide assistance as requested on infrastructure issues. I remember having this conversation, and even I believe it was members of the public saying, like, we need to address this pool leaks at the junior high. We just addressed the high school about fixing this. So I'm wondering, I guess, why haven't we fixed it if it's on here?
Do you see?
I don't see where it is.
Under purpose, so.
First page.
MOU extension.
No, it's not on that memorandum of understanding. It's the explanation
Okay.
under public content. So
Okay, I see. Go
Yeah.
back to the screen.
The junior high.
it's the
Pull down
overview.
a little bit.
It's the overview of the types of projects, but it caught my attention because we've already discussed this, and it's like, how are we not addressing?
Oh, you got it. There it is.
I can read the whole sentence.
So the item number 3, the energy management system incentive?
No, under purpose,
Oh, under purpose, okay.
then it's number 3. Provide assistance as requested on infrastructure issues,
Oh,
i.e.,
okay.
for example, the leak at Birch Grove Primary and then leaks at the junior high. I'm wondering, like, why haven't we addressed it? Because it's, and I know we had this conversation already about addressing.
Yeah, those are examples of things that they've
That
done.
might happen.
Yeah. So has it been fixed? Because my understanding is it's still not in use.
Still not in use? I don't know.
The pool's been empty.
Yeah.
See, there are members of CBOC here that might be able to answer some of that.
I would be okay with
I
that.
don't mind. I don't mind.
Okay, would you like to come forward?
Good evening. I was the community member that brought it up before, and the reason that it was even on my radar was when we took the tour in the spring of last year, in the spring of 17, we were told by Vince, your MOT director at the time, that there's no circulation to the pool. It has no filtration system. So in order for them to put chlorine in the pool, they were draining it, which is sending the water with the chlorine in it, who knows where, adding the chlorine, and then filling it. And what he explained to us is in order for everything to be hooked back up, to put all new equipment in there, you're talking about then they go and they get the permits, and the permits will take you all the way into your PE wing and your facilities in your dressing rooms, and all of that would have to be updated. He said it would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars for everything that would need to be done. So that's why it's just been sitting as it is, and why I had asked back then that it just seemed like it was a project that would never be tackled, and perhaps you should consider just draining it and filling it with dirt.
Thank you. Would it be wise, oh, Mr. Rodriguez, you wanted to speak again?
No, I just will not speak. I really had a question. Just as to have a better understanding, when a 5-year agreement expires, what goes into the decision-making to ask for an extension as opposed to going out again in like an RFP?
Well, the district was apparently very, very happy with their services. And I don't know if they actually did do a search for other qualified energy management types of firms or not. That process would have happened before I came.
Right.
So Beacon had proposed a series of services, some improvements to the agreement they had been under for the 3 years prior to now. And it seemed, by the time I got here, the district seemed happy with the additional services that were going to be part of this new agreement. And at that point, there didn't seem to be a reason for going out for additional services, since the district had already been working with Beacon to negotiate the follow-up agreement.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Would the board be open to tabling this and bringing it back with Beacon coming and giving us a presentation so they can answer questions in person?
You got the time issue, so I don't know.
So just so you know, in terms of where I'm at, so I wanted it, because that was the example that was provided, and maybe, or I guess for future, it shouldn't provide an example if we haven't addressed it. But overall, Beacon Consulting has saved us money and obtained grants for us. So they've done that, and they've shown that, so I would be okay with moving forward with them. I just was really piqued by the fact that it says Pool Lakes Central Junior High, and so either we've addressed it or not, but then don't use it as an example of something they've done if we haven't addressed it.
Seemed kind of odd, yeah.
But we can bring back a staff report on what's going on with the pool.
Okay.
So we can do that.
That would be good.
I personally would feel more comfortable. It's another 5 years. I don't think waiting another
It's 3 years.
Three
It's another 3 years.
I don't think waiting another 2 weeks is out of line, so that I feel comfortable with getting all the questions that I have answered.
Okay.
It had finished as of June 30th of this year, so we're now 3 months into no contract, no extension.
Yeah, they continue to, in fact, they were just providing some services for the district within the past month that I've been here regarding some leaks that were happening in some of our irrigation. So they wouldn't have a significant issue with waiting 2 more weeks.
But, yeah, right. But that too has happened before, where we have had work started before a contract starts to us, and that's something we should make sure we don't do in the future. If the contract's over, the work should end until we have a new contract. So I'm not inclined to
That's fine. We can bring it back in 2 weeks. I don't think.
Yeah, we're okay.
Okay,
But that happens, especially during the summer where, things.
Yeah, and this
moving
was,
on.
this happened to be kind of an emergency
Right.
situation where it was actually on the property that the district leases from San Francisco Public Utility, and their assistance was really needed.
If we're moving to 2 weeks, we can just bring it back. I
yeah,
don't
we'll
want
bring
to.
it back in 2 weeks and ask them to be here and
Absolutely.
ask them to give us a
little update on
report,
what they've been doing.
Update on how much money they've saved us, and then we can ask our questions. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, 10.3.
Yes, good evening. I'm really happy to share that I'm bringing forward an MOU with AC Transit, and I want to thank the board and also some of our members of our city council who encouraged us to really go out for this MOU. In short, our students at the junior high and high school will have access as part of a pilot program with AC Transit for free bus passes and also Clipper cards for BART. One of the wonderful things about this MOU is that students will have access to the city. It's going to give AC Transit information as to, what are the needs of our students and our community. It'll open up horizons for our kids and give them some transportation to and from work, to and from school. So we come forward with this MOU. We've worked with our site liaisons at the junior high and the high school, and they're ready to go. And also, I think AC Transit has really been a good partner in bringing this forward, and I thank the board for encouraging us to do this.
Okay, I don't know if Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. This is great. Anytime we can do something for our kids to make life a little bit easier. The question I have is, a lot of our kids get transportation to go to the ROP Center, and I'm hoping that they do something similar. Are we having conversations with them and so they know what's going on?
Not yet. I can certainly reach out to ROP to see how we could partner with them and bring them on board. We're actually part of the third cohort to go through this with the Measure BB funds. So I'm not sure, but I can certainly reach out to ROP, Mission Valley ROP.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ms. Crawford?
Is there any cost to the district for this program? I see that it takes one person a certain length of time. Is it just in the issuing twice a year?
It's just an issuing and issuing the passes, and so it's part of what we're regularly doing during the workday. And then they actually are very good partners with ensuring that the money. They do a lot of the administrative process at AC Transit. The only part where we may have to support our schools is that if a student loses a pass, but we've got a plan for that already, and so yes.
Thank you.
I noticed that they say that they ask for the name of administrator at each site, and does that mean it should be someone with an administrative credential as opposed to a liaison that we have?
Yeah, no, I think they use the term, what the general public would use it as more as at a company or a nonprofit, or yes,
Right.
not the school administrator.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Please vote. Five ayes, thank you. This is exciting.
That's great.
Mhm.
Okay, 10.4, Resolution 2116, supporting our NTA and CSEA bargaining units.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Please vote. Can we read this? Okay, I'll start with Mr. Nguyen, and you each take a little section and see if I have something to say at the end.
Sure.
Okay?
Newark Unified School District Resolution Number 2116, supporting our NTA and CSEA bargaining units. Whereas all families should have the means to thrive in safe and healthy communities, and whereas the working people who make the Newark Unified School District run deserve good jobs that can support families, and whereas over the past 40 years, working people have become more productive than ever, yet real wages have declined, and
Whereas being able to come together in unions gives people, particularly women and people of color,
Powerful voice.
a powerful voice in speaking up for themselves, their families, and their communities, and ensures they are treated with dignity and respect at work. And whereas when people stick together in unions, they gain the power in numbers to receive competitive wages and improved benefits, and whereas people working collectively together in unions have won victories like the 40-hour work week, overtime pay, and health and safety standards, as well as advanced policies, especially important to women, like paid leave, earned sick pay, and reducing the gender pay gap.
And whereas people can negotiate together for strong contracts, higher wages, and safer, dignified working conditions, all of us benefit. Our communities are stronger, and our entire economy is more fair. And whereas NUSD relies on our bargaining unit employees to educate our children, provide administrative supports to our children, to our students, parents, and staff, clean our classrooms, and maintain our facilities. Now, therefore, be resolved that this Newark Unified School District Board of Education supports the freedom of employees to exercise their rights to a voice and dignity on the job through joining together in strong bargaining units. And
be it further resolved, the Newark Unified Board of Education urges our NUSD administrators and managers to ensure the health and success of our bargaining units post-Janus v. AFSCME Supreme Court case decision by engaging in good faith discussions and by providing adequate opportunities for NTA and CSEA leaders to explain the implications of the Janus decision and to encourage continued union membership to their employee colleagues.
Passed and adopted by the governing board of the Newark Unified School District on this 4th day of September by the following vote: 5 ayes and no noes. Thank you, CSEA. Thank you, NTA. Next, we move on to employee organizations. Ms. Eustace, would you like to?
Good evening, board members and other members of the Newark Unified School District. I'm happy to be here. Things have really gone well. I have had very few comments of anything not going well. So that is a positive from my perspective when everybody is very happy coming back and they're satisfied. And one of the things that we're going to be doing this next month is we're going to be doing a benefit fair. And at the benefit fair is where classified have an opportunity to see what CSC provides them through benefits. It also has an opportunity of having a CVT representative where we get our health care, of them being there, having an opportunity to talk to that individual and make sure that they're enrolled in the medical plan that they want to be enrolled in. We also do different classes for professional growth. And so we've been doing this, I think, for about 7 years. And it's been very successful, and we're really looking forward to doing it again this year. We also are going to be having a candidates night so that we can get to know all of the candidates that are going to be running for the Newark School Board. So it's my pleasure to be here tonight to talk to you and to wish you a happy September. And I plan on seeing you in 2 weeks. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Merritt?
I think this is the most boring board meeting I've been to since I'm coming, so congratulations on that. So just a little, well, it's not over yet. It never is, but a couple of things that I wanted to mention that NTA is working on. Very pleased to announce that I've been working over the last couple of weeks to get 3 special people to help me out in NTA, part of what we call our equity team. So I'm not going to announce names today, but I have received confirmations for an LGBTQ plus contact, human rights contacts, and a women's issues contact, which is a are very important roles in CTA, and we've had a hard time getting people to commit to those. And so we have 3 solid commitments from 3 very good educators that are going to help us out on that. Some other things that we're working on in NTA is getting some professional development for our leaders. Several of us are going to be going to the leadership conference for Region 1 in October. We are also recruiting new teachers to go to the new teaching conference, and we're also looking to recruit some teachers to go to the Good Teaching Conference, which is in, I think, February. We're doing more than just raising ruckus and wearing red for our fellow educators. So thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll go to the consent agenda, personnel items, 12.1, the personnel report.
I move to accept.
Second.
Please vote. Five ayes, thank you. Next, we move on to non-personnel items. We have 13.1, master contract with Alpha Vista Services Incorporated, and the minutes of the regular board meeting of August 21st.
I move acceptance.
Second.
Please vote. Five ayes, thank you. Well, this is some kind of a record. It's
7:45 was the record.
7:45 was a
Yeah.
record. Okay, well.
7-11 2 years ago.
Was it really?
Not that I'm tracking it. But.
Well, okay. So next we move on to Board of Education Committee reports, announcements, requests, debrief, and discussion. And I will begin with Mr. Wynn.
I'll pass.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Who was the board president 2 years ago that did that landmark? No, the only thing I had is naturally, Newark Day's coming up. I had a chance to visit a couple of sites during the first week, and I thank the administration for keeping us in the loop on, the different open houses and stuff. And one of the most exciting things, other than seeing Member Piercialo here, who went to Schilling Elementary, is to see kids that have gone to our schools that are now teaching. And I got a chance to see 2 of them, a couple of them, that are teaching in our schools that graduated from Newark Memorial High School. So that was exciting. So that's all I have.
Yeah. Ms. Crocker?
The only report I have has to do with the redevelopment committee that I'm a member of that belongs to the city. The redevelopment agency was defunded a while ago, but there was some money that was due to the city of Newark, and they needed to have a member. Mr. Rodriguez was the member, and when I was president, he passed it to me, and I've had it since. We have had our last meeting, so I just want to let you know that responsibility is no longer on my shoulders.
So you have room to pick up and
Of course, anything you want, President Thomas, anything. Other than that, that's all I have.
So if we can bring back, or maybe we can do it under superintendent's update, where we are with the strategic plan update and how it's kind of moving forward with the facilities master plan. As we discussed earlier with the other agenda item, the NJHS or junior high pool update, and figuring out like what are our options and how we're going to move forward, or we need to notify or let folks know where that's at. And then for the next budget study session, if we can get an update on, which I think we will be, but like the different funds, so the developer fees, the Russian funds, and kind of where we are to date. And then there was a prioritization document that we had kind of outlined where the board had discussed of what were the priorities. So if we can do that so that it gives us part of the, or we can have a more productive or constructive conversation of how to move forward. Are these the same priorities that we want to move on? And then being able to make those decisions or have the conversation to then be able to make an informed decision. That's all I have.
Thank you. Well, those are things I was going to bring up, so you did a good job. That's it. Superintendent.
On the last two items, budget study session and kind of the status of Measure G dollars, Russian developer fees, that is in the queue. Lola and I have been working on it. We'll be ready by, in two parts, partially for the September 11th first draft with CBOC, and then a full study session with the board with more detail, kind of showing what was approved, what was done, and what remains, and then hopefully parlaying that into the conversation with ADIS going forward. But we're also happy to add strategic plan update again and a pool update by staff at upcoming meetings. So happy to do that. The only thing I would add is so far we have had a relatively smooth start to the year. We had a few glitches with taking ID pictures at the high school, and I think the high school said, I'm sorry, and we'll do better, and they have. But I can tell you, many of us visited schools the first day. I went to every school, and just a lot of real happy kids getting back to school, smell of newly sharp pencils and paper, and kids are excited to be back in school. And I know parents are excited for kids to be back in school for lots of reasons, but just off to a good start. I am thinking currently about some potential ideas for Hispanic Heritage Month, which is coming up starting September 15th through October 15th, but nothing fully cooked yet. But other than that, just welcome to the new school year, everyone.
And I did forget to mention one thing. One of our board projects that we volunteer for every year is that we help pass out cake during Newark Days, 4 o'clock p.m. on Sunday during Newark Days. Ms. Crocker and I usually take care of preparing and cutting and ordering and doing that type of work. So we each have a t-shirt that was given to us, which you should have. Wear your t-shirt and show up at 4 o'clock, please, on Sunday, and help pass out cake. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you,
Pass it to
everybody.
Shar, please.